What's up, guys? How you doing? Javier here with Kingdom Talks. It's official, guys. We've officially launched on all platforms that stream content, podcasts, and what have you. We're on Spotify, Apple, Google, Pandora, and iHeart, and we're excited to present this topic on our very first episode with my co-host Tyler this week. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the visuals for our YouTube viewership, but it's not going to stop us from getting this show on the road. So without any further ado, I just created this little intro to our YouTubers that are seeing this and want to listen to it on YouTube. If you don't want to listen to it on YouTube, you can just go on your podcast platforms and just search Kingdom Talks. I'll have links on social media platforms soon, but you can go on any podcast platform that you utilize and just search Kingdom Talks. Our topics is anything relational, from friendships to partnerships to relationships, courtships, marriages, that big M word, and we do talk which is a sensitive topic for all of us, if we're being honest, divorce. What does divorce look like in families? How does it change the dynamic in the American family and things of that nature? So we're just talking all relational topics, and we're excited to present this content to you guys. We wish you well. God bless you, and enjoy the episode. Peace.
We talk about not how weird weddings are, but as men,
right?
We don't know as much about weddings as apparently we should.
Right.
Of course, this coming from a woman who's been in a number of weddings and knows all the things you need to know about them.
Yeah.
I don't know jack diddly squat because the only weddings I've been in, I officiated. So all they did was show up on the day of, say, do you great in the power vested in me and Lord Savior Jesus Christ in the state of Florida, and now pronounce your husband.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah.
Right. I've been to a couple weddings. I've been a groomsman to two of them, and yeah, I just didn't know the whole behind the scene type stuff that happens in the weddings. Even though I was a groomsman, I just showed up. I was one of the groomsmen. I was never a best man, so I was never in the loop as to what was going on behind the scenes. So getting this knowledge that you're dropping right now as far as the duties of what the best man and the bridesmaids do prior to the actual wedding, and then post-wedding after they're officially husband and wife. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Again, the fact that the bridesmaids, I don't know if it's the bride, what's the name of the first, just the bridesmaid, or they're all bridesmaids? They're all bridesmaids.
I believe they're all bridesmaids.
It's maid of honor.
The maid of honor.
Wow.
Yeah,
see how much we actually
know. But there's the best man,
and
then the maid of honor,
yeah.
right?
So the maid of honor and apparently the bridesmaids are all supposed to make sure that the room for afterwards is prepared.
Is prepped, ready to go.
I had no idea
right.
that this is happening. I'm sorry, that audio spike was massive. But I will say this. I don't know jack diddly squat about anything.
Yeah, me neither, man.
I literally do not have the slight. Granted, talk about weddings with our boy Marco's wedding coming up shortly.
Yeah.
So excited! 6 days.
That's exciting.
I've counted down with him since like day 90 or something like that. We've been excited. I've been excited for this since the day I met him. But
it's crazy how we get excited for other people's weddings, because I'm kind of there too, where I get really excited for other people's weddings. I sometimes feel that I'm too excited. Like, am I more excited than the actual?
If that's true, the wedding shouldn't happen.
I know, right? But no, that's just in my head. Obviously, I'm not. But it's really exciting just to be a witness of what true love looks like.
I mean, especially if you get to be in the wedding, standing beside the bride and the groom.
Absolutely.
You know, having that honor of being able to be supportive and say that, and really be ones that get to invest in these people.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you get to continuously invest in them. You know that you're forever part of their journey.
Yeah. You get like a front row seat of their journey, which is nice. because you've been friends. I would assume if you're a bridesmaid or a groomsman, you guys been doing life together for quite some time. And you guys get to have like a front row seat to their lives, and then continue to see their journey after they become husband and wife. I think that's really, really cool.
So, all right, let's talk about this from a male's perspective. How weird are some of the things that you do at weddings? Like some of the traditions.
Yeah, I mean, I actually been against tradition, me personally.
Mm-hmm.
I just like to get away from that tradition because I feel like it just should be organic.
Mm-hmm.
It should just be a feeling, a spurt of a moment type thing. But with these traditions, like the tossing of the bouquet and...
Can we please get rid of the garter? Can we please?
Yeah, that's kind of been... It feels dated, doesn't it?
It does, well, do you know what's probably the most dated part of a wedding? And this actually goes back to antiquity. And I know this from my own personal studies of, of everything.
Right.
The father giving away the bride.
Yeah, that's a bit dated, isn't it?
Because remember, back... We're going to get historical real quick. Back in the olden days, right, when... Basically, especially in the Bible times, especially in the Old Testament, women were just property. They were just property.
Yeah.
And like that's why you see in Levitical the crazy if you read Leviticus, you're kind of like, I am so glad I exist now.
Right.
Because you read Levitical law and you're just like,
how do they even
did you exist?
Yeah.
Like, how did you exist?
Right.
And one of the things, and here's one of the craziest ones, right? If a woman gets raped, her dad, by law, wants to get her married to her rapist because in their time, in their culture, she no longer has any value.
Right.
She has no value because she's now considered damaged goods.
Right.
And so for that, it's like, okay, well, like obviously, let's just do quick, hey, let's role play this real quick.
Right.
Your daughter who gets raped, what are you going to do? You're going to beat the head in of the guy who raped her, right?
Right.
Or, just like anything but marry her off to that guy.
Right. That's just a weird...
It's a weird thing. But remember, back then they were considered property.
Right.
And a lot of times they were actually, women were actually used, especially like very pretty young girls.
Yeah.
You got married super young because most people don't realize this. A lot of times when women get married, it was a business deal. Or you were bridging the gap between two different
A lot
families.
of people think it's a business transaction now.
I was going to say, well, depending on how much you or her family has.
A lot of people will discuss that sometimes getting married is a business transaction.
I mean,
depending on who you talk to.
But it also united families together in an alliance that it's like, hey, like especially if they were two, like if they were like, I mean, this is recorded a few times, but like if they were like two warring families. Mm-hmm. To make peace, they one family would give a wife away to the son of the other family.
Right.
And so now they're in contracts, essentially contracts, of saying, hey, we're both now family. We will never break this contract. Right. Because now that we have legitimate family members, we can no longer be what we once do. So fast forward to today, the giving away the bride really continued in a way to symbolize the giving away of like, hey, I give this woman away to this new man because she's no longer mine, now she's yours. Now, obviously, I think today and a lot of times, it's less about the giving away of the bride as it comes to like property as it is like, hey, like she's a daddy's girl, right? Her like she loves her dad, she wants her dad to walk her down the aisle.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, yes, like if you have the mentality, great, but if you do it in that mentality, to me, I'm like, bro, like, why would you want to do that? Hold on, me though. But so, but that's the one thing, and I've had this conversation with a couple people. A lot of women don't want to do that anymore. Like when you walk down the aisle, basically, like her dad walks her down the aisle, and there's nothing stopping. oh, dearly beloved, we gather here today to witness the holy matrimony between Francisco and Maria. Like, I mean,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, who gives this woman away?
Yeah.
Oh, I do. What? No, the past few weddings. I mean, because I've officiated 2 of them. Both of them did not do that.
Right.
Did not do that. Granted, one's father passed away. The bride's father passed away, and so her stepdad walked her down the aisle.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't do the giving away.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
told him, I said, look, I have no investment in the relationship in that way. So I would rather. It's like if you feel like by him just having a conversation with your future husband, go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
Do what you feel like you need to. But when it comes to like me, oh, who's here to give away, blah 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 blah. My mic totally just fell. It's great. It's okay. I'll fix it real quick. But in that particular way, like I think I broke it. Hey, I broke it and I fixed it all in the same second. That's great. I should get a medal. But like I think that and the garter. Let's get rid of the garter.
Yeah, that's
let's
kinda
get rid
dated.
let's get rid of the garter because for
People don't even do it right anymore.
who even does that? Thank you. And here's the thing.
I mean, granted, it's good comedy relief because the videos that are posted and it just looks like a blooper video.
It's a total blooper video.
It's just a total blooper video at this point because nobody gets it right. They don't have the hand-eye coordination.
No.
It's awkward.
Okay, Haley said it best. She goes, "You're literally having your husband seduce you in front of your parents. How awkward
that's
is that?"
pretty
And I'm
awkward.
like, she's right.
Right.
She's right. How awkward it is to, and even for, okay, let's think about it. As a guy, seducing your future wife in front of your parents.
that is awkward.
That's awkward. Listen, I've had both
And
my
even-
dad and my mom walk in on me doing stuff with like ex-girlfriends.
And even the song selection, bro. Like some of these song selections to
Oh my
actually
gosh,
do what you're supposed to do in that is crazy.
Who in their right mind would want to do that in front of any type of family? Like everyone knows at the end of the night that magical moment's gonna happen. We don't need to broadcast it though.
Right. So let me ask you this. Now that we're on the subject, what do you think should replace that?
The garter?
Yeah. What?
Okay, hold on. So like the garter thing, what does that originally entail? Is it like it's like protecting her from like
I don't know.
like what is that actually? Hold on, we have technology.
Yeah, we would have to Google this.
Hold on. How do you spell it?
Like if we would have to replace that in its entirety, maybe instead of doing that, let's I don't know.
Oh, here we go. The wedding garter is a piece of bridal lingerie worn under the wedding dress. During the reception, the groom will remove the garter from underneath the bride's own gown with his hands or teeth, but
Right.
wait, that's been in parentheses,
Yeah.
and toss into the crowd. The bachelor that catches the garter is believed to be the next married.
Right.
Okay, so I had a friend who got married, and a lot of us traveled up to Atlanta to go see their wedding. I loved both these people. They're great. They're amazing. And they did the garter thing.
Mm-hmm.
There was a guy, a younger kid. I don't say guy, a younger kid. He was like maybe 18, 19
At the time, yeah.
at the time. I think he may have been younger, actually, to be honest. The bride, this kid was completely obsessed with. Obsessed. Like,
Yeah.
remember, he was a very passionate kid. He was
Right.
very passionate, and I loved him to death. And he was a great worker at Chick-fil-A. So I'm pretty sure some of you who used to work at Chick-fil-A can figure out who I'm talking about. But I'm going to neither confirm nor deny who it is. But he got the garter.
Wow.
Wasn't dating anybody, whatever. But he had it, and he like smelled it, and
Wow.
and kept it. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure to this day kept it because he was obsessed.
Is he
with it.
married?
No,
now?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I deleted social media, so I have no. I'm pretty sure he unfollowed me at some point. I don't know. Okay,
Yeah,
whatever.
But that's crazy.
But okay, then you have, of course, then the bride has the the bouquet thing, and,
Right.
and of course you see the tons of videos of like the
I've
the
seen
boyfriend
people-
of the girl
I've seen
who
people
caught it, like,
slipping
running
and falling and cracking their ankle
my-
trying to grab that thing.
It's like
I've seen full blown fights on video. Like YouTube, you'd be surprised what you
Y'all need
what
to
you see on
calm
YouTube.
down, ladies. Okay,
Calm down
calm
with that.
down. So yeah, to replace that.
Like, what game can we?
Do you know what game I really like though? And I don't think this is to replace it, but I think I've seen it more often.
Right.
The shoe game. You know which one I'm talking about?
The shoe game.
The one where the announcer will sit there and be like, "All right, who's most likely to fall asleep first?" And they're sitting back to back, and they each have one shoe of each other, and they would raise the shoe of the person who it is. So, like for me, it'd be like, who's the, I don't know, like who would be the loudest in a drunk singing competition?
Right.
Me for 120%. Like, or who, whatever. Mm-hmm. And of course, it's fun, and it affects both of you. But I honestly, I feel like it's one of those things you just don't replace.
Right.
You just don't replace it. It's like, what's the point of replacing this with something as, how do I want to put this? As weird.
Right.
And disgusting.
Yeah.
And because it's been on her leg all night.
Right. We would assume.
We also live in Florida.
Yeah. It's
keywords live in Florida, where
humid.
it is humid as all get out.
Yeah.
You sweat just by walking outside.
Right.
Why would I want that thin piece of nylon or whatever?
So we're basically canceling it at this point.
It's canceled.
Are we petitioning to cancel this thing?
We're petitioning to cancel it.
All right, so that's
if you believe in canceling it, please.
So what other traditions would you think should not be had anymore?
Okay, so I talked about the giving away the bride,
right?
In that way,
right?
Again, to honor dads and what. Fine. You do what you again. Yeah. This is your wedding, your special day. You do what you want. Get rid of the garter, please. For the love of all things good and holy, get rid of the garter. The bouquet thing, I almost want to say let's get rid of it too.
Yeah.
To even do what Jesus did and level the playing ground between men and women.
Yeah, right.
Let's just go full out and just get that done and over with. No one saw that, but I just did the karate chopping in the air. It's great. But what other one would I want to get rid of?
Or let's not really.
Or maybe. Again, I think the shoe game is great.
The shoe game is that's a
the shoe game is great.
What additions can we put into?
That's a good one. And this is also where we want a female perspective, but also this is the boys' time.
Yeah.
This is the boys' time, so we don't want the female perspective at this particular moment. Maybe later down the line for another behind the scenes, we'll get a female's perspective.
Right.
But I would say this: to add in something, I would, because especially with. And this is something that I've had to think about personally. And whether this gets released or not, I could care less. My mom will probably never hear this. To be honest, to be blunt honest about myself, like my life, I would rather, like the mom-son dance, I would rather dance with my stepmom than my actual mother. And I know a lot of people are like, blah, blah, blah. Okay, if you knew anything about my situation, if you knew anything about my life, you would know how much more of a mom my stepmother was to me than my actual mother.
And there's a lot of people like you that have a closer relationship with their stepmother other than their biological mom. But
for me, of course, I'm like, I don't want any drama at my wedding.
Right.
I want none of that stuff. It's about me and my bride.
Yeah.
More about my bride, because I still believe it's more about the bride's day than it is the groom's.
Right.
But I don't want that type of issue just arising.
Yeah.
For no real reason.
For no reason.
It does not.
It's irrelevant at that point. Yeah.
So yes, I want to dance with my mom, but I also feel like maybe we can. And this is something Haley and I talked about. I want to dance with my stepmom.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to carve out individual time because I know that will create more drama.
Right. Yeah.
That will create issues. But it's like, hey, this is time that we can dance with other family members. I want to dance with my stepmom. My future bride.
Yeah.
I want to dance with her mom because I just think that's beautiful. I just think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I would love for her to dance with my dad.
Right.
Because my dad would, as much as he tries to hide his feelings, he's definitely sometimes a big softy.
Yeah.
I'm not sorry, Dad. But the whole thing about that is to adding in because now all the family connections are getting so wide and complicated. It's like
Right.
I feel like in a way, not to be, and I'm doing air quotations, woke, but just to understand that the family dynamic has truly changed, especially here in America.
Oh, absolutely.
Even especially in the dare I say the church culture. My mic just fell into my stomach, so y'all listen to my stomach growl, so it's fine. Oh jeez. But that's also where I feel like that could be a really big. I hope that stays. It's not hallway. I gotta fix it. Do you have any additions while I fix that?
Well, I don't think any additions really. I just like me coming from a Latino background. Us Latinos, we love to just
Party.
We like, and I know my Italians out there. They're they feel the same way. And in our culture, we just like to just party, man. We just kind of, it's like a free for all kind of thing. So Spanish weddings are not so much traditional in that sense. We just like to have a big gathering, and it's just having a good time with the ones that you love. And I've been to Spanish weddings, but I was a little younger. I wasn't that young, but I was definitely in my teenage years when I was in Spanish weddings. And man, they know how to party. I'm talking about food, lots of it.
My mic is still broken.
Lots of food, lots of booze, and the music, man. It's just nonstop.
You don't need to tell
music.
me twice. This is a family back here that parties like nobody's business.
Yeah, Spanish people, Italians, even in the black community, they are not as much a tradition oriented. It's just getting their families and extended families together and partying their butts off, man. And that's what's really all about, is just having a good time with the ones that you love, seeing the ones that you love getting married, getting united in matrimony, and showcasing the love that they have for one another. The ultimate love, really, when it comes to that, in the sense of, hey, they're making the ultimate commitment to spend the rest of their lives together, to grow together, be together, learn together, empower each other, empower one another. And it's just that journey of what that consists of. So yeah, I don't know anything that I would add to a wedding.
My mic works again.
And yeah, so I don't know. Like, to answer your questions, I really don't know. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not knowing what to add, what to tweak, if you will. I just like to have a gathering and getting down, man. Loosen up, go. I don't know how to dance well, but I'm out there. I'm out there on the dance floor, just having a good time.
Yeah, I think part of it is, like, obviously, as time goes on, it's like how, and I even heard this from, like, a biblical perspective of, like, traditions can only survive if you learn to reinterpret them.
Right.
If you learn to not just reinterpret them, but to be able to say, like, hey, it's not that we don't no longer appreciate what the tradition was, as long as we acknowledge it, and
right.
we're able to kind of, like, I think the word was reimagine the traditions. And it's like, okay, but let's be honest of what we're doing, why we're doing it, like, what's the purpose of it. So yeah, like, the whole, like, the father giving away thing, like, women are no longer property. Well,
yeah.
And maybe in some
cultures
and places, yeah. But here in the
America,
good old US of A, it's not.
It's not.
No. It's like, a lot of times women are like,
absolutely not looked as that, for sure.
And so so like, maybe, like, reimagining some things. I want to say about the one idea I have, but I want no one to steal it, because I want my wedding to be as, like, unique in the way of like, no one has really done this thing, right, type of thing before. And I don't want to. So I don't want to say what it is.
We'll keep that one in the
in the pipeline. And eventually, one day, I'll talk about it. Yeah. Whenever it does happen, or whenever getting ready to make it happen. Which His Lord's name sooner than later.
That could be a podcast right there, man. On
Hey,
Kingdom
listen,
Talks.
I'm okay with that.
Well, that'll be a Kingdom Talks podcast episode.
But it'll be
sure.
the main episode, not the behind the scenes.
Yeah, it'll be.
Not the stupid behind the scenes that no one asked for. But here's the thing. I love weddings, and then I'm in 3 this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Marco's. I'm also in our buddy JR's.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also in
Shout outs to them.
Shout out to Marco and JR. I have Marco and Olivia. Not Marco and JR. Marco's getting married to Olivia. JR is getting married to Sarah. Amazing couples. We love them to death.
Yeah.
Some of our favorite people. You know, boys. The boys. And then I'm my buddy Eddie's. Now I'm in the wedding for all 3. It's not just, hey, I have to go to a wedding. It's I am in
You're part of it. You're
the wedding.
You're in there.
I'm in there. I am so in there. You can't separate me from anything. I'm just kidding. But it's giving me a lot of newer perspectives. Sorry, I just totally burped. Just about what we do and why we do it. Kind of understanding the want to continue to do certain things when it comes to marriage.
right.
You know, and of course, I keep harping on like the dad giving away the daughter thing, but again, both weddings I've done, we didn't do the whole who gives this person away,
Right.
right? So, to be honest, I'd be okay if the donut walls kind of became a normal thing.
Really.
First off, I love donuts. Second off, I love donut walls,
I've never been a big donut guy.
especially if it's like one of those really good donuts.
Well, that being said, I will not. I will not deny a donut. I'll definitely gladly take a donut from anyone who would offer one. But I don't go out of my way to go get donuts. I'm not really a big donut guy.
So, and this is something that I learned recently. It's like apparently, like up until the reception, the only thing that the best man and the maid of honor really have to do is just to make sure things go off without a hitch. They can make everyone else do it. So I heard, again, this is what I heard. This is what I was taught literally about 24 hours, just under 24 hours ago.
Right.
Where the whole thing where we first got on it is like that the bridesmaids or the I think it's the bridesmaids. I think it's all of them. I don't know. I could be completely wrong, so I can be corrected. It's fine. I'm still learning. But the whole thing about them is like they prepare like the room for the magic moments.
Right.
Where it's like this was the example that was used on me. Is like they make sure all the whole room's covered in rose petals, which I think is just a lot of mess. So please don't do that.
Yeah.
But then you have like a champagne bottle. You have 2 glasses right there. It's just ready to just help them relax and get them ready for their big moment.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. Because I'm not going to go to the full story, but like we were suggested to get ready in the hotel room.
Right.
Apparently we can't.
That's frowned upon. Apparently.
But and then we're talking about it, and she's like, well, we're like Haley asked me, she's like, where would you guys get ready? I'm like, probably at their apartment. I don't know. Like, give me a bathroom. I'll throw my clothes wherever.
Yeah.
I just don't know where we're going to do this because we're all going to do it together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just those traditions I knew nothing about. Like the whole, walk down the aisle, I do, and then even like the this is a good one that like we could talk about like transforming over time. Normally, or what used to be is like you guys would light a candle together.
Yes.
In showing that like you relight this once a year on your anniversary, yada yada yada. Which by the way I never really got because in my back of my mind I'm like, first off, who remembers
the
that?
lighting of a candle is very symbolic too.
It is very symbolic.
Some traditions.
Yes.
It's showing unity. It represents unity and things like that. So yeah.
But I love the creativity behind what people are doing now. So a lot of people do like a rope where they put it like in like
I've seen the rope.
The rope like by the door or in the bedroom or whatever. Yeah. One of my favorite ones is the one that the couple I just married a few months ago. They were going to do this, but they didn't want to drop $200 on it. It was okay. First off, it was I'm just going to straight up be honest. This was a Star Wars wedding. Okay, I was in my elements.
Nice.
I was thriving.
Oh yeah, I do remember you mentioning.
Yeah,
that.
I was dropping my Star Wars knowledge. I said things. It's I first I quoted Yoda and then I immediately quoted the Bible.
Well, it's obviously it correlates.
Duh.
Duh.
But
Wait, let me ask you this: were people in costume?
no,
Because that would have been.
that would have been better. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I asked if I could personally be, if I could walk down the aisle to the Imperial March, and I was going to be Darth Vader.
Oh wow!
But considering how the couple was balling on an extreme budget, it didn't really happen, and that's okay. I would have bought the costume myself if they would have asked.
Right.
But
now those costumes, even if they're replicas, they're expensive.
They're expensive.
Yes.
But it was really cool. The bouquet that the bride had, the handle was a lightsaber handle.
That's pretty dope.
But that all being said, what they were going to do to show their unity was build a lightsaber together.
Oh, gotcha.
Like one like those Disney ones where you can like put them together, like
that's
whatever.
Dope.
But they also didn't want to drop $200 to disassemble it because apparently they tested it and they could not put it together in only 45 seconds. Because they were like, how long does it take? I was like, I don't know, 45 seconds, 2 minutes tops.
Right.
They couldn't do it with 20 minutes.
Wow.
No offense to them. Love them to death. Love you too. Really do. So love you to the moon and back. But
crazy.
But I'm like, but that's cool where it's like you're getting creative. I've seen one where they actually pour like different types of sands together.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, here's a sand from like this particular place, and here's some sand from this place. We pour them together to symbolize that you can't be separated.
Right.
And then you have like different, like I know couples take communion together now.
Yeah, which is cool.
Which I think is great.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Will I personally do it? I don't really know.
Something different.
I don't really know, but I want to be mean, but I also don't want to be mean.
Yeah.
Can we? Okay. I'm really hesitant to say it out loud, but basically,
Don't worry.
Can we? It's
funny how like you ask, can I be mean?
Can I be mean? Is
It's
that
all right,
possible?
man. You're in Kingdom Talks, bro.
I'm in Kingdom Talks, bro. We
Talks.
can be real. We can be real.
We can be real.
In
a God-honoring way.
In a very God-honoring way. Which is funny because what I have to say is actually a very Christian thing to do, and I've seen a lot of couples do it, is the washing of feet. Which I think, listen.
I've been part of that at a men's retreat.
Oh, that's right. The one I didn't go to.
I've been part of that.
Wait, you're talking man camp?
At a men's retreat. This was back in 20...
Oh, never mind. Different one.
I want to say 2013, 2014.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
At a men's retreat.
Yeah, I mean...
Over at Lake Placid.
Yeah. Classic.
Okeechobee County, I think it was.
Classic place.
Yeah.
But it's like, listen, like washing each other's feet, being servant leaders, yes, get it, 100%. I'm behind the message 120%. I'm never going to take that away from anybody. I just think it's weird. I don't know.
I don't think that's something for a wedding.
It's like, yes, I want to serve my wife. Yes, I want to serve my husband. Okay, I get it. Whether you're a more traditional Christian or a more progressive Christian in the way of like roles in the marriage, roles in the home, things
especially
like that.
here in America.
Ugh.
Yeah, which is another topic for another podcast.
Whole different podcast.
We'll have that one. We'll have that one
eventually, and you would need to have a female.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have a female perspective on that episode for sure.
I have a few names that if you want.
Any of you ladies listening now that want to jump in this conversation, DM either myself. Oh wait, you're not on.
I'm not on social media anymore.
But by the time this drops, hopefully you'll have some type of social media.
Nope.
All right, just email me, guys.
Just tag me in it. Just DM quote me.
DM me on Instagram if you are interested in having that conversation, and we will allow you to come join that conversation.
Oh my gosh! But yeah, let's. Obviously, we're not going to get in that conversation because I have opinions about that.
Yeah.
Not. I don't think they're bad ones. It's just.
Yeah. No. Opinions are definitely something that we should.
But that's also. I also have biblical evidence behind what I believe. But that's another kingdom talk at some point.
Or that could be in that same.
Basically apologetics, or basically just understanding culture and deeper meanings behind everything.
Yeah.
To see into the word as opposed to just reading the word.
Reading the word, yeah.
But we'll, like I said, another podcast.
Yeah. Sure.
Maybe I'll do one which is about hermeneutics, and we'll go through that.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
But the whole cleansing of feet thing for a wedding, it's
a little.
It's a little weird. It's a little weird.
To me personally, I don't know, you audience would chime in. It's a little off for a wedding, right?
Maybe it's a good thing I don't have social media because people be blowing my crap.
Yeah. You guys can gladly, I would accept all your DMs.
Criticisms and like,
opinions.
how dare you insult
so
a
any
tradition?
any criticisms and opinions, I welcome that.
I welcome all of them.
All of them.
I would welcome them.
DM me.
If I had social media. So I will defer to Javi, and you can say for Tyler in quotes.
Yes.
And
DM me. And if you want to jump in the conversation, we'll have you as a guest.
And then you just text me.
Yeah, for sure.
Be like, yo, you got another one who hates you. Great.
You want to jump in this conversation, be part of the podcast?
Appreciate that.
Let's go.
Let's go.
But yeah, as far as other types, even themed weddings are cool now. Like these, like you said, Star Wars. That's dope.
I thrived in that Star Wars one.
You know what? I saw one on TikTok the other day. A wedding. It was like the castle. Like it's very castle-like.
Mm-hmm.
Where in that era.
Oh,
like medieval times.
Wow.
It was like a medieval times.
Interesting.
It gave me
wait, medieval times with magic or without magic? Because that's a very important question.
Important.
That's a very important
TikTok video that only is 30 seconds did not really convey that.
Okay, I have one simple question. Were there fairies with wings there?
I did not see a fairy.
Well, then I would say it is a regular
medieval
non-fantasy,
non-magical,
yes.
Yeah.
I would ask if there were dragons, but I mean,
unless there was a guy in his dragon suit, but who knows? But yeah, I did see that on a TikTok video. They were, it was very medieval times vibe, and I thought that was cool. I mean, people are now stepping out of the norm,
norm,
thinking outside the box, if you will. We're in Florida. We see a lot of beach weddings.
I mean,
so we're kind of desensitized when it comes to that. But it could be something different for those who live in the Midwest, who live up north in New York, tri-state area, Connecticut, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, you know more about that than I do.
And if they want to come down to Florida or even Myrtle Beach, out there in Myrtle Beach, or even down here in South Florida, and want to have a beach wedding, if you have the resources, you have the finances, and you want to travel and have a beach wedding, by all means. That's cool. I believe
you
that's cool.
You want to hear...
but we kind of get desensitized because we're spoiled.
For sure. Oh, absolutely.
We're literally a drive away from a beach.
It will take me 10 minutes to get to the beach.
In South Florida.
Right now.
Yeah. For those that don't know, we are located in South Florida, Palm Beach County. But I've been to beaches, outside of the county. I've been to South Beach. I've been to... Daytona Beach.
Been to Cocoa.
Yeah, been to Cocoa Beach. Cocoa Beach is a dope
beach. Been
to Peanut Island.
I've also been on the West Coast beaches.
Oh, in Naples. I've been to the beach in Naples. By the pier.
Mm-hmm.
It's slipping my mind as to what the name of that pier is in Naples, but it's a dope pier.
I see it in my brain, but I can't remember the name. I could not tell you.
For those who live out there, let us know what the name of that pier is.
DM Javi.
DM me.
DM Javi.
But yeah, I think the themed weddings are cool because again, it's thinking outside of the box.
Do you know? I saw one on TikTok. It's Fallout themed.
Really?
Like the video game Fallout.
Wow.
Like the bride and the groom had like the vault, like the blue and yellow vaults, outfits, and everyone else was like the Outlanders and
that's cool.
and straight cosplay. Like everything, like everyone involved was straight cosplay, and I was like, that is really.
And I'm sure that's becoming a thing now, where weddings are themed. Can you imagine a Super Mario Brothers wedding, bro? My goodness.
I have no comment. I'm going to refrain from commenting because there's things I can't say out loud.
Oh my gosh! But can you imagine a Super Mario dude?
I bet you someone's had it.
I'm sure.
The one. Okay, if I had unlimited resources, I'd have a space wedding.
Like a space.
Like in space.
In space.
Think about that. Think about it. You're floating.
Mm.
Or like you're above. No, imagine that. Like even if we like just low Earth orbit and we had some gravity.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. The view.
Oh yeah, that'd be pretty dope.
You're looking down on Earth.
Right.
Think about that. How cool would that be?
That would be pretty dope.
That would be unbelievably amazing.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, beach weddings, themed weddings, all those weddings are pretty cool. I would love to be part of a themed wedding. You had the privilege.
I have for doing Star Wars.
Star Wars, that's pretty awesome.
Listen, writing the message for that was one of the most fun I've ever had.
I bet, dude.
Oh my gosh, I was like,
awesome.
I was.
The fact that you're
I was like,
Yoda.
as you ride off into the binary sunset, no one laughed. I was like, that's a funny joke. I don't care who the heck you are.
Yeah. But for you to, you mentioned earlier, quoting Yoda.
Yoda. I was like, here's the quote. Here's what I did. I said, as Yoda said, anger leads to hate. Hate leads. Crap. Now, wow, I am totally blanking on what I said. Basically, he says, Yoda saying, hey, attachment leads to the dark side, essentially, right? So I do that whole thing, and then I immediately turn. You know what? I just need to find the book. Hold on, I know where it is.
But I'm sure it was pretty cool.
Oh no, I'm getting it now because now I'm mad at myself because I don't remember.
Wow. Well, he's getting the quote. We're gonna get the true quote to what he wrote at this Star Wars themed wedding. For any of you guys that are listening and want to share any ideas of what a cool themed wedding would look like, DM me, not Tyler. DM me, not Tyler.
I don't exist on social media.
All right.
All right. So I literally have the book right in front of me. Okay. So I'm gonna quote some of this just so you guys have more of an idea.
Let's get it.
Man, I went deep with the lore. Here's one of my favorite quotes. I said, I was like saying how much I love the couple,
right.
like because we share share a thing for all things geeks, more specifically Star Wars,
right? Which
to all the non-Star Wars people who just roll their eyes and want this to be over already, as one Darth Vader once said, "I find your lack of faith disturbing." So if you have lack of faith, come find me after and we can pray for you.
Let's go.
As some of you will know, in the Star Wars universe, there's a living force called the Force. Shocker. Mm-hmm. As Obi-Wan once told us, the Force is all around us and in us and through us. It controls all living things. Now, there are people more sensitive to the Force than the others. These are known Jedi and Sith. I'm kind of fast-forwarding, but each have their own view on the Force and have their own abilities. But there's something that the Force does that both sides seem to overlook. The Force unites us. He unites us in all things together. In the same way, God is all around us, in us, and through us. He keeps everything together.
Is it safe to say that the Force is the Holy Ghost here on Earth, bro?
Yes. Have you disturbance in the Force? Keep in his steadfast love as you keep in his love. Always keep in your mind. Now, when times get tough and you feel like you are falling to the dark side, whether in flesh, mind, or spirituality, because as we all know, and you all say it with me, fear is a path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. But remember this. As it says in 1 John 4, there is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear because fear has nothing to do with punishment. The one who drives out fear is not made perfect in love. We love because he first loved us.
Bars.
Fun facts.
Bars right there.
Went from Yoda to 1 John, which, fun fact, I had no idea what the weddings verse was.
Right.
It was 1 John 4.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Look at God.
Look at God. Just there was another one of that. Where was it? Oh, here it was. As you ride into the binary sunset, as you begin the journey of your life together, trust in God, like those older and wiser than you, and trust in the Force. Journey forth together in peace, love, patience, kindness, and your feet will never falter. You will never fall to the dark side. Become a force together.
Right.
Wherever you go, go together. Whatever battle you face together. Forces in the same direction go farther and are more powerful than forces working against each other. And then I did the exchanging of vows. Well, they did, because I did not write them. They did. Actually, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a good. You know what? Thank you, magical book that I use all my weddings for.
Traditionally, a lot of people go the other way though, right? Where they have it written for them.
So if you're more of like the Catholic side, and this is nothing against Catholics, a lot of times they kind of write it for you, but a lot of times you have.
Yeah, because on my father's side, they're Catholics, and it's been.
It's all like the same thing. It's all the same thing,
right?
And I think that's been a new tradition that's been really cool. Is like the husband and wife like write individual vows for each other,
right?
Because both weddings that I did, okay, the Star Wars wedding, I knew them for years.
They wrote each other's though, right?
Yes, they still wrote. I asked them. I said, hey, what do you want? This is your wedding,
right.
I'm not going to dictate what you want. But the wedding before, I had met them only a couple months before I did the wedding. But I was so okay with doing the wedding because they were perfect for each other, and now they have one beautiful baby boy, and I'm batting 100 right now for all my couples. So I'm sorry, 100 or 1,000?
That's 100.
That's 100. Okay,
batting 100.
Okay, right? Are you sure? I
think baseball terminology.
Yeah,
I want to say batting 1,000. You're batting 1,000.
I'm batting 1,000. So okay, now with all that being said, I am totally on board with the whole writing your own vows.
You're on board with that?
Yeah, I'm totally on board
Me too.
with that. I think it's great. I think it's deep and meaningful to you guys because like there are gonna be things that you say. I had two friends who got married, both Disney nerds, right? And
my cousin's a huge Disney nerd. Shouts to my cousin.
So I love Disney too. I can tell you things about Disney no one else knows.
Oh my gosh,
it's bad. But like she wrote some things in there that only he knew, in Disney terms, and no one can figure it out.
What do you mean?
Like she wrote things like to him, but it only meant something to them.
Ooh, so the people who were listening in.
So everyone who was listening was like okay, like she said something and it was just like, all right, we have no idea what that is, because it's between them. Mm-hmm. I think that's beautiful, and I'm a huge. Actually, this is something that we may have to monitor this. I may edit this before we release it, because so Haley and I have talked a lot about weddings.
Okay.
About
which is fine because a lot of couples do.
Yeah. Well,
a lot of committed. Mm-hmm. Wait, let me rephrase that.
Okay, I was going to say
for our viewers.
If you're going to
for a broad viewership,
very broad
viewership with committed couples who are intentionally dating with intentionality and commitment
to go all the way to marriage.
Exactly. They have these types of conversations.
And
even the baby talk. Oh, what if we have a baby? What if we have a girl? What if we have a boy? And then you start rambling about the names that you're going to name this baby. I mean, listen. I've had those conversations too when I was in a very committed, relationship. We had that baby talk. Like, hey, if we have a baby, if it happens to be a girl, what would the names be? I vividly remember listing names and sharing those names with my significant other.
Do you find it easier to name girls?
I do.
Guys haven't, for some strange reason, guys have an easier time to name girls, and girls have an easier time naming guys. It's strange. It's strange. I have like 3 girls' names.
Yeah.
I'm not going to reveal them all because, that's something between me and my future wife.
Right.
But anyways, backtrack.
Back to
Haley and I, because obviously...
Now Haley's on board with writing her vows.
Right? No, hold on. I have not got to the best part. Uh-huh. We want to do our own vows.
Right.
Right, because we already know who's going to do the wedding.
Yeah.
Sean.
Shouts to Sean.
P. Sean. What's up, baby? We're going to do 2 sets of vows. We're going to do what we want to.
Yeah.
We want to do a first look.
And I'm sure Pastor Sean will definitely co-sign that for sure.
Well, actually, this is before the wedding. This is because we want to do a first look before the wedding.
Okay.
But we want to have it be an intimate moment. Just me and her, and then our photographer, shout out to PJ, to just capture the moment. But then for the next however long it takes, we have our own personal vows to each other, just with each other. we'll have vows during the wedding.
That's cool.
So,
I respect that.
So like we have like we're still gonna write our own personal vows for the wedding.
Right.
Obviously, it's not gonna be as long, but we kind of already looked at each other. We're like because we both like writing things to each other. Mm-hmm. That's part of our love language.
Yeah.
That's really hers, but I enjoy writing.
Yeah.
We both come in. It's like we could probably write like 6 pages worth of like vows. But we're not going to make everyone sit there for 2 hours as you listen to us just ramble on how much we're in love.
Come on.
Oh my gosh. So with that being said, there's 2 sets of vows. It's the one that only us will be able to hear.
Wow, that's really
that intimate moment. Because like we both love that deep, intimate moment where it's like it's just us.
So listen up, guys and gals. Listen up and take notes.
The new tradition. We're starting it
right now.
Oh, I'm going to start a new tradition about the other couple of ideas I have, but we're not going to talk about that just yet. But yeah, like long sets.
Cool.
I mean, like multiple pages type of thing. Like it's going to be like 7 to 10 pages.
That's
easy.
awesome. Because think about it. If down the line, 10, 15, 20, 30 years from the time that would pass, you can always look back.
Yes.
And reread that.
Mm-hmm.
How refreshing would that
be? And be reminded.
And be reminded.
Yes.
So that how refreshing would that be?
Exactly. Yeah. Break it out every anniversary.
Yeah.
And remind yourself. But I know, and like you said, like showing the journey.
Right.
Where it's like, okay, this is where we started.
Yeah.
Look at us now.
And it'll sound refreshing in the sense that the 20th year, you're rereading that stuff, and it just gives you a new perspective on where.
Actually, that's a good point.
Yeah.
What do you feel about like renewing vows?
If I'm gonna be completely honest and transparent, I was never really for it. I just said, man, if you're gonna do it, the first time's the right time. Mm-hmm. Why do it again, kind of thing. But I get the premise of it. I get the sentiment behind it for sure. But I just never really. It wasn't really my thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I mean, my dad and my stepmom.
I'm probably standing in an island by myself. With that,
you're probably not, to be honest.
With that opinion, but yeah, just never. I mean, if you're doing it for the first time, it's a stamp in your life, in both of your lives. Really, that's such a pinnacle moment in your life. That why replicate that? Why remix it, if you will?
I mean, like, and don't get me wrong, my stepmom and my dad.
Let's be honest, the remix.
My stepmom and dad did it.
Never that good.
Yeah.
Than the original song.
Okay, it's very rare.
It's very rare. But, I mean,
but it happens.
There's some remixes. I mean, in hip hop, there's some remixes that get downwatered. I usually like the original rap song. But there is some remixes out there that are good. But the original, bro, that original song is just
you can't be. But I also feel
replicate that.
I feel like there are times where you were like, I mean, of course, I'm still relating this to renewing your vows. Like,
do you think? Wait, let me ask you this: do you think renewing your vows has the same magic as when you're doing it for the first time?
I'm going to answer that in kind of 2 parts.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
I'm ready.
So 1, no.
Okay.
I agree with you on that.
All right.
I do agree with you. But there's a second point.
You don't have to agree with me. I'm just.
No, well, I mean,
because it was just a question.
Like, it's a question. But
do you feel that it hits the same way as the first time?
But I also know that there are times because everyone's relationship is different, and there are times where there are relationships where people fall out of love, or like they go through like severe traumatic experiences, or they have a falling out.
Right.
Like, but then, okay. So I actually know this is a real story. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna give you I'm just gonna give you like the highlights. I'm not gonna give you details.
Yeah, the cliff notes.
But basically, like there was a husband and wife. Mm-hmm. Like when they first got married, everyone was all about them. They were so in love, whatever. But then 10 years into marriage, like it turned, dare I say, abusive. Right. Like they're not physically, but
verbally,
verbally.
Which,
and
by the
emotionally.
way, there's more than one type of abuse.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So
when it becomes verbal, yeah, that could be toxic.
And if you need help, reach out, please.
Yes, reach out for sure.
But it became kind of abusive like that. Yeah, it became bad.
Right.
And then the wife and husband like separated. They never technically ever divorced.
Right.
But then, like during the separation, like the husband found Christ. Like he found Christ and he worked hard to change himself.
Right.
And they came back together and they renewed their vows and their relationship was even stronger than ever. And
I think that's the outlier though, isn't it?
But see, it goes back to that same analogy of like there are not all the time, but there are some songs that are redone that are as good, if not better, sometimes better than the. So here's an example. One of my favorite songs of all time, "Sounds of Silence." Right, "The Sound of Silence" by. I'm sorry if you don't know the original artist, don't say it. But basically, I know the original artist, Simon and Garfunkel. Where the original ones doing "Sound of Silence," and then Disturbed came in and made it just
amazing.
Oh, listen.
Shouts to Disturbed.
Shout out to Disturbed, by the way, for many different reasons. But Simon and Garfunkel emailed the lead singer of Disturbed after they did a live version of it, and was like praised him for how great it was.
Okay. But I do see that in that instance, in that specific, because that's very specific. That's a very specific scenario, specific circumstances where you're renewing the vows, and it's just as good, if not better.
Yes.
And I would hedge with better. I would lean towards better because you're a new creation in Christ. So you're saying these vows with more punch, if you will.
Yes. Now that especially he came back to the table,
because that's an incredible redemption story.
Yeah.
Because we're so used to listening and hearing about horror stories about marriages just going
haywire. Yeah. It's
tearing up families.
I mean,
and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, even
it's good to hear those type of stories.
Even people that we both know, like that's happened too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not fun. Divorce is obviously on the rise, especially after quarantine. It's been on.
What is it now? What the rate of divorce?
I had a conversation with my therapist. Yes, I do see a therapist.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Shouts to Mr. Alex Cons. Shout you out, boy. Love my therapist. Alex is a good dude. He's old enough to be my father, but we had a conversation about that because we have a pretty unique relationship amongst patient, if you will, and therapist.
Ooh,
and
this is interesting.
And he shared that with me. He's like, because I asked him, I was like, Alex, how have you been? And he's like, man, I've been really busy. And a lot of people are either suicidal or getting divorces because of quarantine.
It's funny you say that.
He has the pulse in that because because it's particular field that he practices, and he just sees it. Right. He's right in the front line, and he gets all these calls from different people trying to seek help because they're on the brinks of divorce or on the verge of literally killing themselves.
Yeah.
So I do believe that because I've been blessed to come in terms of taking care of myself, not just physically by going to the gym and staying fit and trying to eat well and do the things to keep you fit, but I think the muscle that's most important as well is your brain, and you have to take care of that as well. And I encourage anyone that's struggling mentally to definitely seek help. I mean, prayer is great. Confiding in your pastor is great. But if you really need a professional to really get in deep and tear away some layers that you may not want to tear away, when you're talking to a pastor or a fellow friend, definitely seek professional help for sure.
So not to backtrack a little bit, but apparently, and this was in 2020, apparently the divorce rate hit an all-time low.
Yeah, he was telling me that...
late 2020.
Right.
Late 2020.
Yeah.
It's because apparently right now in America it is 50% right now.
Yeah.
It's still 50%.
Yeah.
Still. Mm-hmm. Which personally, I've had divorce run rampant through my family.
Right.
Personally, like my mom and dad divorced, my stepmom who remarried to my dad, My mom's
Yeah,
divorced.
my
My
uncle,
grandparents,
my
my uncle and aunt divorced. I mean, other uncles and aunts divorced.
Yeah.
So it's rampant in my family, and I never wanted to be in that boat.
Yeah,
Ever.
man.
But as a young
Adult.
as a kid, I had to come to terms with the complications and the complexity of what divorce was.
It's a different dynamic for sure.
And I guarantee in a way it did force me to grow the heck up a little bit faster.
A little bit faster, yeah.
You know, so people say, people tell me all the time where I'm like, oh, it's like, oh, you're kind of immature. It's like, no, I just know how to enjoy life.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm not letting you take that away from me.
Right.
Sorry.
No,
sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I can't, if you've seen half of what I've seen, you would appreciate life a heck of a lot more.
For sure.
Than just, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be around my friends. I'm happy to see family still together.
Yeah.
Don't ever sit there and tell me I'm immature when you don't know half my story.
Right.
Sorry.
But
But
that being said, I mean, we shouldn't lose hope.
Absolutely.
In love. I still believe in love.
Hey, I want
And I still believe in.
to marry the chick.
Yeah, and I still believe in marriage, even though we see some marriages fail. We still have to have.
I actually think. I'm trying to remember the statistic.
I think seeing and witnessing marriages fail should not discourage you to have that for yourself.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because some people, unfortunately, fall there. They see all this stuff happening, whether they're seeing it
in a weird way, become a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It is, because even that one person that happens to follow or idolize a public figure or an actress, actor, whomever, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, J-Lo's got another divorce.
Yeah,
there's no hope. I don't believe."
It's like, if they can't find it, I can find it.
Yeah, and
no,
that's crazy. That's a crazy. And again, we're not judging anybody.
No.
We're not judging you guys. We're just saying. We challenge you that you should challenge yourself to think otherwise.
Yeah, because if I had surrendered to that, honestly, I wouldn't be able to have this type of conversation.
There you go.
I would not be in the position I'm in if I had lost to that.
Right.
If I had just kind of let that speak over my life.
Right.
I would not be the same person.
That absolutely, and that's something that is a good thing, because sometimes you need that mirror image.
Yes.
So you can be the one to break that generational curse, if you will.
Yes.
Especially for those who are listening.
I'm sorry. Keywords. If they ever listen.
Yeah.
If this is ever released.
Yes. And I'm leaning towards it being released.
This
exclusively on Spotify and iTunes.
No, this is exclusively locked behind some paywall.
Yeah. And probably some paywall. But
we're not trying to get your money, I swear.
Yeah. So by those who see that as a mirror image, like, I don't want to repeat that. More power to you guys. And more power to you. I respect that. That you were not involved, but you experienced that with your immediate family and your extended family. That stuff happens, but it shouldn't happen to you.
And but it's also working to make sure that doesn't happen,
right.
because reality isn't. This is something that I've learned a lot, especially with mentality towards marriage, future focused, being a person that it's like, I see a goal. I want, it's not just, okay, I get there and I'm done. It's she's coming alongside of me and we're continuing forward together.
Yes.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
And so for me, just gonna be open and honest, with Haley and I just even today we were on the phone, we were talking, and I'm like, when we get engaged, we're starting marriage counseling.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah, why not, man? Because
I would rather get ahead of the problems and address them early. Not that we have any. We're great.
Yeah.
It's just, there are certain lessons that we want to make sure we have and we're armed for. Yeah. So when the time comes, we're not panicking on, okay, what do we do? Yeah. It's no, we already have, we have a very strong base to fall back on all the time. So that we're aware of these things.
And it's important.
And being able to help with communication, being able to help with
and
understanding each other
those are the building blocks for your foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And just building that foundation. And building the foundation is the hardest, and it takes longer.
It takes long because most people don't remember or know that to build a foundation, you have to dig a lot of earth out. So you have to dig into the dirt that you don't want to dig up.
Right.
You need to dig into that.
Yeah.
Because I know I've already been working on them, but like there have been things that I'm personally digging through to continue on the analogy to create a stronger base.
Right.
I need to dig through them. Like, I mean, there's a lot of things I've had to dig out. I mean, social media is one of them. If I'm going to be honest, social media is one of them.
Right.
You know, if I'm going to be, and it's not as so black and white as like what I'm about to make it out to be, but like being on social media and seeing the amount of girls that are on there, they're just like, and again, if you want to post an amazing picture, go ahead. Be proud of yourself. Awesome. I'm 100% for that. But don't do it just to get attention,
right? Which
especially
of that is happening.
And here's the thing: I'm
both male and females.
Yeah,
so let's keep it above.
Okay, yes. let's keep it PG, kids.
Yeah.
But like me personally, I'm a visual type of guy.
Yeah.
It's like like even Haley said, it's like if a girl has massive boobs, and they're out there, you're gonna look.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're gonna. It's like, and it's not like it's. Of course, there's a difference between looking and then actually continuing to stare. We discovered the difference. We didn't discover, but like we talk about the difference.
Right.
And so for me, it's like not that I'm gonna say that I'm gonna lust over this one girl.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't want my It's not. I don't want my mind to wander.
Yeah.
I don't want to open the door for something like that.
Yeah.
So I closed the door. I got rid of social media.
Right.
Which, again, there were many other reasons why I did that for my own personal sanity.
Yeah.
For my own personal sanity.
Yeah, I've done that where I would go periods with, I call it a detox from social media, where I would just go, weeks out.
Mm.
I think Mike does that too. Shouts to Mike Griffin.
That man is a G.
Yeah, he's a G.
He's a G.
Definitely a G. And I think he's done that too. We've actually had conversations of that. I think it's healthy. It's healthy to disconnect from social media because you get caught up in the moment, you get caught up in the hype, and then you just get caught up in constantly scrolling. And when you scroll and you scroll and you scroll, what happens? Your eyes wander.
Mm-hmm. And it's not one of those where, and I'm not one of those people that are like, oh, if your eye causes you to sin, like gouge your eye out. Basically, it's like I'm not black and white. It's like, oh, if I happen to look at like a semi-naked girl, where it's like, oh man, I looked at her, wow, I'm sinning.
Yeah.
Like I'm not. No, that's a whole. I mean, that could be another conversation.
Yeah,
at some point.
Another conversation.
But basically, I'm just gonna put it simply as this.
But back to the counseling though.
Oh no,
that's huge, bro. That's huge. Not a lot of Christian couples are doing that.
No, because there's such a negative stigma on that.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a negative stigma.
And when they do it is when it's already in trouble. When the marriage is already in trouble.
It's a last second ditch effort.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be, right?
No,
it shouldn't be.
No, I actually know there's actually a good amount of pastors who try to lead by example by having their own having their own counselors by like going through marriage counseling because they're not perfect either.
Right.
Sorry to burst any of your bubbles.
Yeah.
Whatever pastor you're following is not perfect. Right. Sorry to the all the celebrity pastors or whatever.
But definitely counseling is huge, man.
And
that's huge.
I think it speaks a lot about where your priorities are.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying look if you don't need it, okay, that's fine. If you don't need it and you don't feel like you really need it, that's your own personal decision. Right. And that's okay.
But boy, is it a tool to help you.
Oh, listen, my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
I can be open and honest. My ex-girlfriend is a therapist. Mm-hmm. And man, like the stories I heard about like how people were able to turn things around.
Yeah. It works.
It works. But
only if you're open to it.
But that's the key. Is you need to be open and willing.
And willing to do it for you.
Willing to do it and
not for your partner. Because that's the mistake that men do. And some men lack leadership when it comes to this area.
Oh, I got the perfect thing. Ready? I have a book. thanks to Mike Griffin. Thank you, Mike Griffin. Another shout out. Discovering the Mind of a Woman.
Yes, he did tell me about that book.
If you do not, if you get married before you read this book, get the book right now. Go on Amazon, buy it.
I got to get that book.
The amount of
I'm
times.
single, but I need to get that book.
Listen, I'm getting ready for that.
Yeah.
To head towards that kind of destination. Oh,
but as I would,
it was amazing.
Yeah.
But basically, the whole. I mean, I like not to spoil the whole book.
Right.
I mean, there's still so much you can definitely learn from the book.
and
I
dissect from it.
highly. No, it's if you're a Christian male and you're getting married, buy this
the
book.
Yeah, that's what Mike told me. Buy that.
Buy the book. I mean, oh man. But the whole main thing is like your wife will more love you if you become more Christ-like.
And a leader.
Yes. Like the more Christ-like you become, the better your marriage is.
And back to leadership, like leading well also consists of you doing things for yourself when it comes to that area. Like, don't go to therapy for her. Mm-hmm. Do it for you.
And he talks about a lot about that in the book. He's like they come to me for marriages, but I don't focus on their He's like, I don't focus on the relationship. I focus on them. Yeah. I focus on them in developing them before we develop the relationship.
Boy, is that something that will liberate you from a lot of things if you're willing to do it, are open about it, and doing it for you, for the sake of you being a better husband.
Relationship math, half a person does not make a full relationship.
Correct.
You need a full person and a full person.
And people are going to say, well, it's easier said than done. And all you divorcees listening, I get it. I understand it. But man, there's truth behind that. There is so much truth behind, being able to just be held accountable. Accountability is a big thing, obviously.
Oh yeah.
And just doing it for you. If you really love this person and you want to make it work, because let's be honest, it's work. It's work.
It can't be a lot of work.
It's work, but you love this person. You guys we're wired different. I think blue, you think pink. I think that's a book too.
Is it?
I think. But anyway, it sounds like a book. But yeah,
if not, we'll write it.
We think blue and they think pink. We're wired different. We have different perspectives on everything, and of course, we're going to bump heads on something. We're bound to disagree on something. We're human. We're flesh. We have opinions. We have takes on some things, and we come from different walks of life, and I get it. But if you don't seek the help that you need before it becomes an issue, before it becomes a dumpster fire, get help. Seek
help, please.
Yeah, start small. If you don't want to get too crazy with the therapist and paying,
find an accountability partner.
Find accountability partner. And some churches have counseling.
Have free counseling.
Free 99, guys. Free 99 at your local churches. So we definitely
you just got to be a member of the church. It's fine.
Yeah, but listen, get help. Get help.
Get help. And that's the thing is like I also think I'm trying to relate it to something else, but yeah, like the one thing is just admitting you need help. It's just admitting it. Yeah. And I know for us guys, it's harder. It's harder to admit help.
Swallowing ego.
Yeah.
Pride.
Absolutely.
All that stuff.
Absolutely. 120%.
We deal with.
But that's also the thing. I also told Haley this. I'm like, I never, ever want to get to the point where we're dying in our own relationship.
Yeah.
Because realistically, like, we're like right now, what me and her are doing is trying to invest in ourselves.
Right.
Have more not to be self-centered. Yeah. But it's like to help focus on ourselves. That eventually, for both of us, it's going to work out better. That we're both going to be stronger because of it. Yeah. But there are still things that we are still working on, and that's okay. And that's okay. And to admit that, like, hey, you know what, like. I got together with Mike. I asked questions. Like even other people. I'm like, how do you do this? What does it mean for this? Yeah. But I had to admit that I was not ready.
Yeah, and
I have to admit that
we have to encourage one another too to seek wisdom, to seek knowledge.
See, you hit on it. Wisdom.
So if you want to be like a couple who are thriving, whose marriage looks like they're authentic, real, go Ask
You want to be
questions.
the relationship that everyone wants to be.
Ask questions,
Yeah, you have to ask
especially if
questions.
they're in your social sphere. Hey, give them a text. Be like, hey, listen, I have questions. I want to know this. I want to talk about this. I'm dating so and so, and we're taking the next steps. How was it like? And again, everyone's journey is different. But boy, is it cool to have an objective
Yes.
take on what it is that you're going through with your significant other.
100%.
Especially if you're working on marriage.
Yes.
If you're working on getting married with that person, hey, call your married friend who happens to have a phenomenal marriage.
Let's put it this way: if you have to, in a way, think of a relationship like a business,
Absolutely.
right? With a business, you need to do what? You need to invest in it to make it grow. You need time, finances, energy, emotion into it. You need to, because the more you put into the business, the more likely you're actually already able to get out.
Yeah.
Of course, people can take the analogy and go, "Oh, businesses fail, whatever, blah blah blah." Well, realistically, no.
Well, we could also on that same side of that coin, we could also say, okay, here's why the business failed.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. But like you have to think about it this way, because the more you invest in it, the better it is. The more you're going to get out of it, and you're not getting out of it for your own personal gain. You're getting out of it for the mutual gain of everyone around you.
Right.
Obviously, especially the person who you are investing to.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's bottom line. Like if you're saying, going, man, like my relationship is dead. It's like, well, what have you done to invest into it?
True, right. It's just not going to.
How have you two grown? And that's something I had to learn with my last relationship. Was not that I didn't fully invest in it. It's just I think both sides there wasn't enough investment, and it didn't work, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It didn't work out because it obviously wasn't the person that God wanted me to be with, and that's okay. Yeah. And that is okay.
That is okay. Yeah.
I don't have a ring on this finger.
Right. Exactly.
Not yet. But I don't have a ring on this finger yet. But that doesn't matter because I'm still going to continue to invest into something that God has put me on this earth to do.
Right.
Because even when I was little, I literally feel like part of God's calling for me was to be a husband. Well, I also was called to be a pastor.
Right.
I was also called to do this and that. But I don't just wake up one day like, okay, I'm there.
Yeah, you got to put in work.
There's a lot of work.
Yeah.
If anyone out there who has ever been in any type of ministry schooling knows that it is like, it's like, oh, ministry's easy. First off, no. Second off, the amount of papers you have to write, the amount of and all of it is centered around investing into people.
Yeah, and even these entrepreneurs who are in speaking engagements that would tell you, you have to work. You gotta put in the work to reap the benefits of your work. So work ethic is important in every area of your life, and that includes marriage.
But the best things in life, you have to work for it.
And marriage is
marriage is the greatest thing.
As much as some people may think otherwise because of experiences, because of seeing failed marriages, don't let the devil lie to you. That's a lie.
Listen, again, if there's anyone in this conversation that can say that's like, oh, marriage is the one thing that they would never want, it's me.
Yeah. With
how much it's affected
my life. And we're lying to ourselves when we say that, by the way. We are. Come on, let's just be real.
Let's be honest. Yeah,
if you're really going to be honest with yourself, you know that when you said that, you're lying.
Because he's like, I was in the impression that it's like, oh, marriage, it sucks. It's like a jail cell. Mm-hmm. Marriage is freedom, my friend.
Yeah.
Like you have the freedom to I don't know what you want, but you have the freedom in this relationship.
Right.
But I had to work hard to turn that viewpoint upside down.
Right.
Because when I grew up, I heard tons of comedians and other people say, "Oh man, I gotta go see my wife. Oh, I gotta work on my marriage." Yeah. Oh, it's like it was like I had to.
They normalize that type of behavior.
Yeah, it's like oh man, marriage is like a jail cell. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like
chain and ball.
And I literally want to be like. As a kid who, again, had to wrestle with the idea of marriage very early, divorce very early on, Do you know how that affected me?
Yeah, because then you're asking yourself, then why get married?
It's like, then why would I want to get married? And I admit this.
Are we getting married to get divorced? I don't
admitted
get it.
I admitted this last night. Not that anyone listening to this knows when last night is, but
Right.
I was honest. I said, look, if we're talking about Tyler of like 4 or 5 years ago,
Yeah.
you said the M word, I'm running around the other direction, flipping
I'm right,
the bird.
I'm right there with you too.
Like, I'm just like, nope, I'm
Yeah.
out. I'm done.
Yeah.
Nope, you said that. You said the biggest.
No.
Nope, I'm done. Nope. It's like, that's a curse word to me. It's
Yeah.
like, married, I'm out.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm done.
Right.
I could not do it now. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
Yeah, you got to.
I'm all about it's
Gotta
like
embrace
whether I mean, maybe that shows my maturity, whether it shows my image. I don't know.
Right. I think
know.
it does come with maturity and wising up a little bit, and just life experiences in that area of your life. Like, you've experienced certain things. I've experienced certain things. I'm sure everyone listening has experienced some things. And at the end of the day, you get, when you're in a wedding, especially, and you're witnessing true love, you want that. Come on, if you've ever been to a
Come
wedding, because this
on.
podcast has been, the topic of conversation is weddings, and et cetera, and anything that involves weddings. You've been to a wedding, and you've seen how it looks and how it feels. You want that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're saying that you've been to a wedding and told yourself that you don't want that, you're lying to yourself. Come on.
especially
Come on.
especially if it's a really gorgeous and really
Yeah.
nice wedding.
Yeah. It's like, who doesn't want that? And again,
You have no soul if you don't want that.
right.
I'm sorry.
And again,
Like,
it's not putting the actual ceremony and the actual reception and the actual wedding on a pedestal.
look. Olivia said it best. Right?
It's a lifestyle.
The woman who's getting married next week said it this way. She goes, the wedding is one day.
It's one day.
Marriage is forever.
Marriage is forever.
She goes, as much as I want the wedding to go off without a hitch,
Right.
she's like, it could all go wrong.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter
But
to
it
me
shouldn't
because
matter.
I'm going to be marrying the man of my dreams.
There you go. And that's a great mentality to
Shout
have.
out to Mark and Olivia. I love you two
Hey,
so
shout out,
much.
shout out.
Love you two so much.
But isn't that so true though? So
she's speaking
the
wisdom.
wedding is one day,
It's only one day.
but marriage is forever. And
One
that-
day, many traditions that we don't want anymore.
Yeah.
But marriage will keeps going.
Whether
And
it's a
I think I think our culture, especially our generation type
Mm-hmm.
of culture, has fallen to like, oh, they just want the wedding, and they forget that there's things afterwards.
yeah.
You forget there's actual
Because after
marriage
the
afterwards.
the honeymoon stage, man, it gets real. Because I've spoken to people who are 3, 4, 5 years into their wedding, and they tell me, hey, man, like, it gets real, and it gets real quick. It gets real quick, and the thing is, it's not a race; it's a marathon, and it's a journey that you have to embrace through the
Actually,
good, through
I
the
want to
bad,
challenge. I want to
through the-
challenge that a little bit.
and through the
I'm
indifferent.
gonna challenge that a little bit. I don't think it's a marathon. I don't think it's a marathon. I think it's a relay race.
Well, but it's definitely not a sprint.
It is definitely long distance.
Yeah, it's definitely long distance.
But I think it's more a relay race because then you want to keep handing that off to the future generation.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Because as much as yeah, it's like, yes, marriage is for us, but it's also like to continue our marriage.
Mm-hmm.
To continue our marriage is also going to be for our kids.
Absolutely.
Because
You wanna be a great
I
example to your
don't
kids.
want my kids to see me.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like, and again, each situation is different. So I'm not bashing anyone who has been divorced or anything.
Right.
That's not what I'm saying at all. Do not put words in
Right.
my mouth. Do not interpret that any other way.
Yeah.
I'm a guy. Read things at face value.
Yeah, for sure.
But in that way of just being, oh my gosh, how do I want to put this? Like, I don't want to my kids to view me and see me in anything else but like loving their mother. I want to be the image of Jesus of love for their mom, so they see what they want,
Right.
what they should put, what the level or the importance of what that is in a relationship.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, I don't want my future daughters, or sons to settle with somebody. I'm not to judge anyone, but to have someone who's not holding themselves up to that type of standard,
Right.
holding themselves up to that type of level.
Which is nothing wrong with that.
Which is nothing wrong with that, because I want what's best for my kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
And here's the thing: if their future someone does not treat them better than gold, I don't want my kids to stand for that.
Right.
I don't want my kids to go,
nothing wrong with that.
oh, like, it's okay, he hit me once. I'm like, if he hits you once, I got 8 numbers on speed dial. Most of them are ex-military and will love to continue live target practice.
There you go.
Do not tempt me. I will do that.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's because, like, with Father's Day coming up, because Father's Day is in like 2 weeks, right? I actually started writing a sermon that I'm not actually going to be able to fully share, so I'll kind of share a little bit now. But, like, the whole concept is leaving a legacy.
Yeah.
We want to leave a legacy behind. I don't want my kids to fall beneath me.
Right.
I want to be the platform that they spring off of, and they go higher than me.
Yeah, because you should never be the ceiling. You should be the floor.
Exactly.
The floor, man. Because
Because even my dad wasn't always the shining beacon of, I don't want to say virtue, but like the shining beacon of a man like he is now.
Right.
Like he's a much better image of what I feel like a
father
real
figure.
Man is. He is a true father figure now.
Praise God for that.
He's not, because my dad used to have a super bad temper.
Right.
They used to rub off me, and I used to have a super bad temper. But he noticed how like it was affecting me and my brother and sister, and he worked hard to change that.
And
like,
I'm sure God had a lot to do with that.
He got involved in church.
There you go.
He started leading a group.
There you go.
He read all these books. They eventually renewed their vows and like all this other stuff. But I feel like my life would be very different if my dad didn't change that. If he didn't set the precedence for me, I would have fallen behind and would have gone the same route. But because he set a precedence and because he showed and taught me, he was like, look, servant leadership is probably the most important thing you need to have.
Yeah.
And to this day, he will tell you.
Right.
He will tell you, he's just like, look, if you're not in serving the Lord, your marriage will not look the same.
Wow. Praise God.
And me and my dad don't really talk about that type of stuff. But when we do, I pay attention.
Yeah, for sure.
I pay attention because the man, again, has been through divorce. Right? Has almost got pushed to divorce with my stepmom, but now they're not perfect, but I see how far they've come.
Yeah,
and I love them more for it.
Right.
And I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, like this is unbelievable. But it all started with Christ.
Yeah.
It all started with that, because if Dad didn't do that, I would be a completely different person.
Yeah. And
so he left a legacy.
He put you, there you go. Words right out of my mouth. Legacy.
He left a legacy. And
it put you in position
yes.
to break that generational curse that could be.
Yes.
That could have been.
That could have been.
You know what I mean?
Do I think it's going to happen now? No, it's not.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. No, it's not. Sorry, I found the one.
There you go.
I found the one, and we're going to go through some tough.
And most importantly, you got God behind it.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's
not to borrow this moniker, but he is our anchor.
Right.
Like he really is our anchor. That's how our relationship started. That's how it's going to continue to be, and that's how it will forever be. Like we are just two broken souls clinging on to Jesus. That we could not continue on if we didn't have him.
Amen.
We could not do it. We could not do it. And if all honesty, if we didn't have Jesus, we wouldn't be together.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
That's awesome.
We would not be together. That's how a 4 like me got a 10 like her.
Hey. Let's go.
Let's go. It's like, you want to know how I know there is a God? Have you seen her?
There you go.
But with all that being said, like to just be completely honest, like I'm the happiest I could be, ever. Like she's beyond the woman of my dreams. Yeah. Like not just to talk about my relationship, but like if we didn't start with Christ, I would have never imagined a life. Right. Like, because even today we were talking about that. It all started with a small conversation, but realistically, our whole relationship started with the point of Christ. Yeah, 120%.
Yeah, and that's important.
And but here's the fun thing. And I feel like this is going to be important to say. No matter how much we change, we still have the same anchor point.
There you go.
We still have the same. We have the same values. We have the same things that we both want. Yeah. Because we both have this anchor in Christ.
Yeah.
And that's why I can sit here and go like, hey, not that, say that anything's perfect or anything, but like,
and nothing will be.
I guarantee you our relationship is not the same as it would have been if we didn't have it. I mean, I probably would honestly would not even looked her way.
Right.
She would have not looked my way.
Because there's no such thing as a perfect relationship or a perfect marriage, but there is such a thing as a trying relationship and a trying marriage, which is two different things.
We put it this way.
Two different
I
things.
even told her this today when we were on the phone. I said I want to be the relationship everyone wants to be. Mm-hmm. But going back to our original conversation, that requires work.
Yeah.
And we're already working on it.
Yeah.
We had a conversation about the future today. That was it was a very, very serious conversation about the future.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, here are decisions.
Those are great conversations to have, as I harped before.
Yeah. We had these hard
things.
And here's the thing, it was a hard conversation. Mm-hmm. It was a hard conversation. And I guarantee, like, we're sitting here going, like, we probably shouldn't have this conversation, but we need to.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need to have this conversation. We need to have it, because if we don't have it, we're setting ourselves up for failure, and we never want to fall behind in what God wants for us.
Right.
We never want to fall behind in the life that we're called to.
Yeah.
And we never want to fall behind in a new way that we're going to more invest into our own relationship as much as each other.
Amen. You hear that, kids? Are you taking notes? Because I hope you are, because we're dropping some gems here.
Dropping some gems, and there'll be a pop quiz afterwards.
And remember, DM me.
DM Javi. I can't see anything. I have no social media.
With any of your opinions, any of your critiques, and any of your questions.
If you just want to say I'm wrong,
yeah, let's see. I'm for that too.
Let me know. He just winked.
I'm for everything. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's say we're about an hour and a half in. You want to cut it?
We're going to conclude this episode
of the behind the scenes, whatever you want to call it. You're going to drop this like 2 months into it and be like, it's like you heard us at the beginning. Mm-hmm. This was us before we started.
Yeah, for sure. But
like, look listen to how terrible we were beforehand.
No, actually, I think this was a great podcast.
This is great. This wasn't even a podcast. This was just, I literally just was like, I looked at him.
But essentially, isn't that what a podcast is,
yeah. No, you're right. But yeah, I just looked at Javi. I was just like, let's just record this and just talk.
Yeah, because we need to have a conversation. Like I said, the Kingdom podcast is definitely conversations that need to be had. Whether it be about weddings, marriage, relationships, relationship goals, or anything else, these conversations need to be had.
Wouldn't it be great if if these conversations you drop this podcast like so out of chronological order, mm-hmm. like before then?
Yeah.
Be like, wait a second, wait, what? Timelines? This doesn't work out. What?
Yeah.
But
I think I'm going to drop this one soon, though.
You're going to drop this one soon?
Yeah, I'm going to drop this one soon. So you guys are going to get this soon. And if you're listening to it now...
I love how we're talking.
And if you're listening to it now, that means we dropped it.
That means you dropped it. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And, I want to say congratulations. And also, what the heck is wrong with you for listening this far into the podcast an hour and a half later?
I've actually listened to podcasts for the...
Listen. Yeah. There's a number of them that are like an hour and a half, 2 hours long.
Yeah.
But they're way more focused in on anything. We just kind of were all over the board.
No, actually, we kept it in that wedding pocket. Married, because we were talking about marriage.
Okay, yes. You're correct.
Officially, the title is now of this episode is called Weddings, Marriages, and Relationships. We're going to leave it at that. That's what this episode is.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, I would have been a lot more prepared when we were talking.
But man, I think there was a lot of
there's a lot of good stuff.
A lot of good stuff in here. Yeah. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.
Till the next time. We love you. We appreciate your support, your critiques, and all the above. Thank you for watching the Kingdom podcast.
And listening, if you're listening to the audio.
All right, we're out. Kingdom Talks. Let's go.